Hello, gentle viewers. This is Guardian welcoming you back to Out of the Park Baseball 23 with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Coming off one of the more unlikely World Series victories that I've ever seen in OOTP. Friends, I still don't know. I really don't know how we managed to, first of all, win 94 games in the first place, but then win the whole damn thing is utterly bananas, is I think the word I'm looking for. Why say I have 5? Oh, because of the one time I played the U.S. in the World Baseball Cup. Yep. Man, imagine how many World Series titles we'd have if I had actually played through a couple of these games. That would have been pretty bonkers. And, yeah. So, somebody had a really good comment to last week's video talk about how important pitching is. And I am of two minds. For a very long time, there was this thought that that pitching won championships. And I'm not saying that's not true, but I'm starting to come around to the other idea, which is that offense can win championships. So, what do I mean by that? If you have a great pitching staff, you're going to steal games from you're going to steal games in series from your opponents, and that's wonderful. But any pitcher can have a bad day. And when a pitcher has a bad day, you typically lose the game. So a balanced offense, I think, is more important to the modern game of baseball than just having an amazing pitching staff. Look at what the Mets have tried to do this year, right? The Mets go out, they get Max Scherzer, they have Jacob deGrom, both Cy Young winners. Both of them have played very little this season, and they're still one of the best teams in the National League. I can't remember if as I record this video, they're the best team in the National League or the Dodgers are still number one. But regardless, depth matters more than frontline stars in pitching. And that is something that a commenter raised, which is, can you ever have too much pitching? The answer to the question is obviously yes. Because success with any sports franchise in any sport is a matter of managing 3 very specific scarce resources. Money. Even in a league with no salary cap like baseball, there is still a finite amount of money people are willing to pay for a successful baseball team. Roster spots. I don't know every sport in the world, but I'm pretty sure all of them have a specific, you may only have X number of players on your roster. And finally, playing time. If one player is playing, another player is not playing if they're at the same position. You can't say in the NHL, have 2 goalies in the net at the same time. That is what the big brains call cheating. And you can't do that, obviously. So, pitching depth is really, really important in the regular season. However, I do agree that pitching tends to be a little bit more important during the playoffs. Which is why, I don't think it's any coincidence that we signed Tommy McDonald in, what year did we acquire that magnificent man? That absolute unit of a pitcher. He joined the Pirates in 2042, and 2 years later we're hoisting the World Series well, 3 years later, we're hoisting the World Series title. But I do think it's a very common flaw for people playing a baseball video game to think, if I just have great pitching, I'm going to be fine. Great pitching can get you close, but if you don't have a really strong offense that doesn't rely just on one or two players, like the Angels, then you can have a really rough time getting to the playoffs. And I think that's the key takeaway. What does matter a lot in the regular season is pitching depth. And that is something that I will acknowledge we don't have a ton of. I am over the moon that we're able to front this kind of rotation despite the fact that two of our best pitchers are both recovering from injury. And I think that's going to be the key to any success we have this season, is the fact that we do have these options available to us. But at the end of the day, I think it's our well-rounded offense that really takes us over the hump. Having Josh Lynch back matters a lot. We have Joe to provide the power. We have Cerulli, who has only scratched the surface of what he's capable of. We have Rory Granton, who on a lot of other teams is probably one of the best players, and here he's just a really, really terrific additional piece. We have Manny Pozzo, who has both been a great player and yet still seems to be leaving something on the table. How good has he been so far? He's already got 40 WAR, and he's only 29. I'm not saying go ahead and buy your Hall of Fame tickets to see him get inducted, but he is definitely on the right path. Particularly since third base is still woefully unrepresented compared to the other teams, to the other positions rather. Now, if anything is going to hurt this team, it's not going to be a lack of pitching, in my opinion. It's going to be the incredibly, incredibly shaky foundation the success has all been built on of late. Bill Garett. Bill Garett has been utterly fantastic for us ever since we signed him. He's also been really healthy, which is unusual based on the fact his injury proneness is considered wrecked. And so this is what's going to control our destiny in this particular episode, is Bill Garett going to stay healthy again? And I think having Otis will spell him with some regularity will help. And make sure that we have something in case Garett does get injured. Don't sleep on the stealth acquisition of Jeremy Brickhouse to stabilize second base, as we let Jonathan Webb continue to improve his offensive capabilities. So that's what we're looking at this episode. Is, can we get back to the playoffs and make a meaningful impact, despite having a lot of the key team be quite similar? There's only one way to find out, my friends. Let's get going. Excellent. We locked down Nieves. And Andres Avila did take a minor league contract. 400 homers for Bill Garett. Awesome. I do kind of feel bad for Avila, but if there were to be an injury, I would probably be willing to call him up to serve as like a pinch hitter or maybe play a little bit of first or whatever. Brad Collum has cleared waivers, as I suspected he might. And remember, you kind of ignore the first month of the season because you don't have a big enough sample size to determine if someone is actually not very good or not. We're off to a really rough start, though, which is obviously not ideal. And it happened. That's okay. It was going to happen eventually. Probably. So, Otis Wolf is definitely going to come in and play some first. Who is Chris Hawk? Where did you even come from? Oh, I traded for you. Hey, Mr. Hawk, I might call you up just because Otis Wolf is not as good against left-handed pitching. He's not appreciably worse. Maybe this is when we call... No, let's stick to the plan. We do have to kind of rejigger the lineups, though. Okay, first things first. Otis Wolf is going to be our starting first baseman. Against left-handed pitching, anyway. And then Chris Hawk is going to be our starting first baseman against right-handed pitching. Alright. Your new number 3 hitter is going to be Rory Granton. Then Joe, then Hughes. Against righties, I think it's still Gratton. I'm concerned about Cerulli's lack of play discipline, but this obviously can change on a dime if we need it to, but that's kind of where we are right now. Okay. Now the interesting question is going to be, how bad off are we going to be without Garett in the lineup? And there's only one way to find out, my friends. There's only one way to find out. I did not know that about Jack Burkhouse. I didn't even know who that was. Calling Cubs and White Sox baseball? Yikes. That's got to make you an unpopular guy, no matter which team you support in Chicago. Ooh, yep. Avila is pretty much done as a Major League Baseball player. Man, I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer. I really don't. Like happens to so many catchers, right? It happens so frequently. He really tailed off toward the end there. It depends on how much of a break you're going to give the man for being a catcher. If you're like, because he's a catcher, I'm going to cut him some slack, then by all means, I think he's got a real case to be a Hall of Famer. He does have some hard work. He's got 10 All-Star appearances and 7 Silver Sluggers. And came pretty close to a couple of MVPs. Like, let me be clear, because I know what Hall of Fame voters think. If Andres Seville wins all 4 MVPs he's in position to win, he's a no doubt about it Hall of Famer. He doesn't do great on black ink because he just so rarely led the league in any category, which is what the black ink does. And I think gray ink is top 10, whereas black ink is you have to lead the league. And yeah, he led the league in doubles, which is pretty cool. He led the league he got a batting title. And even led the league in weighted runs created. But we're just going to keep going at this point. I'm not really going to do anything else right now. We're just going to let things develop a bit more and see what we actually get when we have more meaningful data. Randy Sloan, I know you're probably grumpy that you're not starting every day, but I need you to stop, okay? I'm not saying he'll never be a center fielder again. It was just Josh Lynch was so big for us for so long that I couldn't pass up the opportunity to bring him back. Oh, that's embarrassing. 1 second. That was extremely weird. That was the stealth crash of OOTP 23. I have never seen that happen, which is pretty nuts. Okay. So we did send through. It just crashed on May 1st, which I guess is going to crash. That makes sense. So. Oh, I see. We actually lost basically a month of progress. Which is fine. We can just keep going then, because, yeah, that's where we were. Okay. That was strange. I don't remember it just, like, crashing like that, right? That's very bonkers. Oh, look, Granny Sloan complains again. Wow. I mean, I guess some things are just destined to occur. Yeah, we're off to a really, really crappy start. I'm still going to play through the rest of May before I start making any changes, but I think some changes will be warranted. Unless they get really hot really fast. I mean, the Austin Inferno are probably the hottest team in Major League Baseball. Sorry, I couldn't resist. But it is true. Right, it is true. In case you missed last week's episode, I have updated the playoff picture. Oh, good, we get both Alcantara and McDonald back. I think that's going to be huge. Corey McLaughlin, I need you to not be on the Major League roster anymore, possibly ever again. Because holy shit, you got lit up. Who else in Pitching Town needs to be removed? Who else is really having a rough season as a starting pitcher? Okay, so Alcantara is going to take Dan Day's spot. I want to thank you for your service, Dan Day, and I'm definitely not saying you'll never be a starter again. But I just think we're a better team with Alcantara as our starting pitcher. Jared Gilbert, I don't know what your deal is. You've never been a very good pitcher for us. I think I'm just going to trade you. Because whatever value you offer with the bat and it's on inconsiderable, you're just fucking up at way too high a rate. Alright, so I'm going to change Mike Sorrentino to setup. I'm just going to flat out trade Jared Gilbert and see what kind of prospect I could get for him. I could get Eric Plummer. I'm not that impressed by that. What if we could look at a couple 3 mid-tier prospects for him? That would be nice. How do you not like this deal? Like, Reuben Moreno's obviously raw as fuck, But holy shit, if he develops, he'd be quite a nice starter for us. Like, here's the thing. Jared Gilbert has never been a good pitcher for us. He's been okay, but he's never been good. And I just think we're just better off moving on. And Reuben Moreno sounds like an amazing acquisition. Joel Castaneda, less so. I don't really think that makes me all that excited. But getting an admittedly raw but top tier starting pitcher for a reliever that's going to lose his job anyway is just smart. I'm going to see if I can get him to drop Castaneda to give me a different prospect, though. Just because I don't like Castaneda at all as a prospect. Alright. Bob Moores. I like Bob Moores better. Bob Moores looks like he could someday be a productive hitter. Alright. No, I want to make the trade now so I have the roster spot open, basically. I'll take Phil. Gonna get Neeson and Castaneda. No, I can't. I know Neeson isn't great, but we're getting a really great prospect out of it, so I'm just gonna complete the trade. And then we activate Alcantara. And he slots in here. And this looks good. Next up, I really want, because Dan Day is pitching quite well, I do want him to be basically a middle relief, long relief, to get him a lot of reps. Let's swap these two. Let's get Mike Sorrentino really involved. And Jim Gender's having a great season. Jim Gender, at least, is being what we had hoped when we acquired him. We're still rocking 12 pitchers. That may change in the near future here, but we'll see what happens here. We shall see what happens. Let us sim a single day. No, I'm nervous that every time it pauses this is going to crash again. Please don't, game. Okay, we're good. Nieves is getting a sliver worse. Brickhouse a bit better. Pozo a tiny bit better. Daly a little bit worse. Gratton worse. Cerulli worse. McLaughlin might be a good starter for us someday, but I think that day is quite a ways away for us. So we'll just have to see how things go forward. Okay. What are we looking at in the rotation? Let's look actually at the lineup first. Okay. Josh Lynch is an unqualified failure. But he's not getting on base enough. No, I can't leave him at leadoff anymore. He's hurting the team by hitting leadoff. Jeremy Brickhouse could hit leadoff maybe. The problem is if his bat cools off, I think he's not going to be as useful. Otis Wolf could bat leadoff. He's really good at getting on base. I kind of dig it, actually. So Wolf bats leadoff against right-handed pitching. And Brickhouse definitely bats up there. And I'm going to let Brickhouse, he's going to go ahead and lead off against left-handed pitching. Yeah, Lynch, you are really struggling. You are on the front seat of the struggle bus. So we may... I'm not saying I'm going to put Sloan in yet, but I'm getting really close to putting Sloan in. Because here's the thing, right? Here's the most important thing. I am not obligated to keep Lynch beyond this season. Are you just like... Yeah, Sloan may very well end up taking over here in the very near future at center field if you can't figure out your shit. Other than that, the lineup seems pretty decent. Chris Taylor is struggling a bit. How is the bench doing? Randy Sloan is just one of the best players on the team despite the fact he's coming off the bench, which is pretty crazy. Josh Watson cannot hit at all. And he's called on to do such a big role. I might replace you. Benayoun's not doing great either, but a lot of his failures seem to be offensive. Jim Hughes is getting it done, though. He is fulfilling the role he is contractually obligated to fulfill right now, which is being a really good hitter against left-handed pitching. So... what do we do about Watson? Do we accept the fact that his positional utility, is he at least playing well defensively? He's not playing well defensively. I'm just kidding. He's actually not playing... He's literally below replacement level. So I think Watson is no longer a useful contributor to the Pittsburgh Pirates experience. So then, who would be a useful contributor? This could be an opportunity to get Jonathan Webb onto the Major League roster and give him some Major League reps. The problem is he's also on the struggle bus in AAA. So rushing him to the big leagues to solve this situation just seems really short-sighted. Mike Brandon is a little better than Watson is right now. I mean, it'd be hard to be worse than Watson. Is Chris Hawk killing it? He is not. Okay. So I'm gonna send down Hawk. I'm just gonna let Otis Wolf, you're gonna play first base every day now. I don't think it means I don't have a backup first baseman. We'll get to that. I probably need an outfielder now. Don't I? No, I could let Sloan play all of the different backup outfield positions, and that would be fine. So I need a competent hitter. I could call up Ray Samano. I think Samano would... The thing is, though, we're getting rid of Watson, right? We are getting rid of Watson. I don't mind having another outfielder on the roster, but I do think actually let's get Virgil Hill back up. Let's carry a 13th pitcher again. I think my 12 pitcher experiment is already done, and I think it was probably a mistake. Let's give Greg Weld a chance to really build up his talents again before we turn him loose again. So, amigos, who's gonna take Watson's spot? I need an infielder who cannot embarrass me offensively, but who also plays defense with reasonable skill. And the problem is I don't have those. I've got a bunch of really good defenders, and I've got a bunch of acceptable hitters. But I don't have anybody that's both yet. And that is, of course, a concern. I could just let punt, and let Watson do it. Is he my only captain right now? No, I've also got Rory Granton. Okay. Let's check the waiver wire real fast and see what manner of infielders are on it. Steve Fulford is competent. That's about the nicest thing I can say about him. Like, he's not a bad hitter, and he's not a bad fielder. And I think this is better than Watson, so I'm going to go ahead and put in a claim for Mr. Fulford here. And if we get him, I'm going to trade him. I'm going to trade Watson. Amazing. Mr. Watson, I would not like to lose you in case I need an emergency player, so I'm going to go ahead and just try to get you through waivers and see if that works. Mr. Steve Fulford, I have every confidence in your ability to play the infield positions, rather. I do need somebody to back up Wolf. I mean, Jim Hughes is a terrible outfielder. I don't see why he can't also be a terrible infielder. So we'll give him some reps at first. And then we're going to go... Boop. And maybe Boop. Like, you know, Fulford isn't sensational by any means, but he's good enough at all three positions that I think I'd like to give him a chance to see if he can be a top-tier backup for us. And then Johnny Cerulli can back up at first every once in a while, I guess. We're putting a lot on Wolf's shoulders, which is not something I had anticipated or hoped for this season, but I think we kind of have to do it. There kind of isn't another solution to this problem other than that. And then Cerulli, he'll be our number one pinch hitter. Then Sloan. Then probably Fulford, maybe? I don't know. Yeah, Wolf cannot be a pinch hitter if he's also our starting first baseman. I wish the game wouldn't do that sometimes. It seems like a bit of a struggle with the last pinch hitter spot, like just replacing it, but whatever. Okay. We're getting next to no production out of catcher, which is obviously not good, and this is going to be one area that I hope that we can improve on in the second half of the season. But I think we've gotten better at the margins with a better bench, and I think adding that extra pitcher is going to have an impact as well on how we do going forward. So let us do exactly that and go up to the All-Star break. I don't know who makes the All-Star team from our team unless it's Rory Granton, who's the only player who might have a chance at it, but we're going to see. We are going to see. All-Star game announcement, please. And as predicted, Wasson did slip through waivers. I kind of thought he would. How did you instantly get worse the moment I acquired you? I'm going to start prioritizing utility guys a bit more than I do. I tend to get enamored with defense, and I acquire utility guys just for that. But I think a guy who can stand around the infield at a couple of spots, but is also a top-tier hitter, is pretty smart. We're also not efficiently using one of our roster spots, namely Mr. Jim Hughes, because he literally has only one job right now, which is to hit against left-handed pitching, and he's really, really good at that. But it seems less than ideal to do that. But we'll see. Okay. So our all-stars are Mark Hops, and Rory Granton, as predicted. How did Manny Pozo not get over Bobby Fischer? Is it just because Fischer has 24 home runs? Probably. Wow. A reliever? And my left fielder are the only people who made the roster. I'm not saying that's unfair, because we're off to kind of a rough start as a team, but man, kind of hope for more. Sean Hill. Okay. Let's get to the end of June, and let's think about if there's any ways we can improve this team. Good for Joe. Let's quickly scan these. Nothing too dramatic happening one way or the other. McDonald is not losing more velocity. We knew that might happen. Alcantara's gotten a bit better, which is good. Wolf is losing contact but gaining power. I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest with you, but that's alright. Randy Son is getting better hitting for contact. Andy Diaz is getting a little better at movement. Herrera's becoming better defensively, but not better offensively. Ray Samano is getting really, really good. It's just a shame that he's a left-handed hitter, because I could use him if he was a right-handed hitter. But here we are. Webb, my dude, come on. Webb's development stalling is really not good. Like, he's just not hitting. And that significantly limits the ceiling. Significantly. Like, I was kind of hoping you could start at second base, but now your ceiling might be utility guy. And even that ceiling, I don't know how close you're achieving. Close you are to achieving. I want Manny Gomez on my team. He's probably gonna tell me to get fucked, but I really want Manny Gomez. Okay then. 5 million done. Come join us, please. All right, let's take stock of our situation right now. We are 40 and 37. This is what the kids call not very good. We are okay. So there's five wild card teams because we're up to 16 playoff teams. So the Bees, Cubs, and Rockies are 3 of them, and then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So wait, what? Or did I make it? No, 16 teams would be 3 and 5, right? I am having a moment right now. Yeah, so 16 teams play with us. Yeah, it's a 3 division winners and it's the wild cards. So why is it saying I'm no games back? I definitely am games back. These are your 5 wildcard teams. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know why it's saying I have a wildcard because this game's back 0, right? This is inaccurate. I should not be. This should say that I'm probably a couple of games back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. It's doing the same thing here. How bizarre. I'm not gonna worry about it. We're just gonna keep going after we make a last adjustment. So, we are not scoring very many runs. And this is where you're like, duh, I can tell that you're not scoring very many runs. But it is worth noting that we're not. Otis Wolf has completely vanished as a contact hitter, but he's still getting on base at a decent clip. So I don't really have any functionality to get rid of. I mean, I could look for a new first baseman. That is definitely an option that may be worth considering. But I need to get rid of Josh Lynch. I need to. He's only drawing walks, and he's playing okay center field. But guys, Randy Sloan has kind of been crushing it, and I think he'd be a better fit for the team right now than Josh Lynch. If I trade Josh Lynch, what do I want in return? A catcher, maybe? Maybe just a bunch of really good prospects to kind of restock the system? Both of you can use a little more time in A-ball. That's fine. Someone's going to overpay for Josh Lynch. I have a feeling someone's going to overpay for him. So we're going to do it. We're going to trade Josh Lynch. Again. Let's look at the multiplayer packages that might be offered to us and then make a decision from here. So mostly being offered lots and lots of relievers. That doesn't do it for me. Okay, we're just going to stop that right now. We're going to look at single players. Let me add regulars. And let's look at a prospect package. I'm just looking for anything that gets me a reasonable return. Juan Moreno is a decent utility guy. He's got okay offense and a pretty well-rounded skill set. Eddie Zuniga is going to be an interesting hitter, but I can still use that. Burgess and Aguilera don't do a lot for me, but they do some. And I think this is probably the best trade I'm going to get. I'm going to keep looking, but I think that's the current front runner. No, you cannot handle infield, but you could play outfield reasonably well. Nelson Fernandez. I don't know why you're rated as 61. I'm not saying you're bad, but I'm definitely saying that I probably wouldn't have a place for you on the roster. Haston Freeman Jr. Don't be Haston. Very, very good utility guy, but his offensive skill set is just not going to fly in the big leagues, I don't think. And I'm not getting enough secondary value to make a deal like that appropriate. I quite like you, actually, Mr. Okamura. You're a very intriguing player to me because you play so many positions and you play them all relatively well. Lu Yan is a capable shortstop outfielder mix, potentially. Raquelme doesn't do much for me right now, but he's also 19. There's always a chance he'll get a lot better. I like Okamura's game a lot, actually. He's got good power, good discipline off the bench, really good gap power. I'm doing it. This is the deal I was looking for. I'll keep checking just to make sure I'm not. Okay, let's look at that other deal that was closer to the top again. And let's just make sure I'm making the right call here. Yes, much like Eddie Zuniga, I think Okamura is very useful to us. Could I get one more interesting prospect, if you please? Like a Dave Scoggin, perhaps. No, Dave Scoggin is where you draw the line. I mean, Corey McLaughlin isn't that exciting to me. He just isn't. But if I'm going to give up Corey McLaughlin, I want more from this deal. Rusty Jackson is an interesting third base prospect. You don't have very many good prospects, do you? I just like Scoggins' game better. I think Scoggins has a much higher likelihood of being a premier player here. No, McLaughlin's a better pitcher. Nope, you almost got me, but no, I'm not giving you McLaughlin. Yeah, let's make this happen. Alright, Mr. Akamura, I am going to promote you right to the big leagues. You're going to basically take Josh Lynch's roster spot. And then, Mr. Randy Sloan, you have been excellent all season long, and I think you get your starting job back. And then, Mr. Akamura, you're going to be the backup at all 3 outfield positions, reducing the amount of time Hughes has to play the field. Which is just better for everyone, right? That's just better. And you're going to take Sloan's spot there. I think you're also very fast, so you can also be our pinch hitter. You're also a good first baseman, which means I can let you play first base and back up Hughes. So that's that Dune. Go ahead and copy just the depth chart, because... No, not the depth chart, because I don't have Hughes there. Akamura... Chico Akamura. No, wait a minute. That's the wrong guy. Here we go. All right. So Randy Sloan, I'm sorry I didn't believe in you earlier. Please forgive me and play really good baseball from here on out. Otis Wolf is not perfect, but what he's bringing to the table is valuable. It's just not Bill Garett valuable. Although, to be quite frank, who is Bill Garett valuable other than Bill Garett? A fair question, I think. God damn it, really? You're like, oh, I want to play for your team. Just kidding. I'm going to go for the frickin' Portland Skyhawks because I'm a little bitch. You've got a weak arm, which doesn't make me happy. You're not very good. Oh, I don't like you at all. You're only going to be good if you can hit for contact. If you can't, you're going to be a bust. I need a more well-rounded skill set. I will try for Leonardo Mendez instead. That's Ernesto Nieves gone, which is a real shame. He's having a really good season. I guess it means McLaughlin comes back, because I don't really have anyone else that I would trust to be a starter for a few weeks. No, just kidding. Dan Day gets his rotation spot back. He's done exceptionally well this season. And then maybe we do call up McLaughlin, but we let McLaughlin just be an emergency starter. We maybe give him a few less hardcore innings. And just let him develop his skills at the major league level a bit. I think that's reasonable. Fuck you, Manny Gomez. I got Leonardo Mendez at least, so that's not terrible. Oh no, you might say he was flooded out of his season. Right? Alright, we're going to look at all players. We're going to look at the defaults. Damn, y'all are right. These draft classes are a lot stronger than you would normally expect. I'm kind of here for it, though, at least for now, but that is pretty bonkers that there's already this great talent still left behind. I'm here for it, though. So, Isaiah Jones is an amazing hitter and a terrible fielder. Who else do we have here? Nope. Nope. Absolutely not. Maybe. This kid is 6'2". I struggle to think he's going to be throwing at 87, 89. I really don't think that's makes a lot of sense, but that's a possibility. Great power, mediocre. Oh, I'd have to pay a whole bunch of money to get you to sign. Nope. Maybe. So. Okay, there's no way Reuben Moreno doesn't throw harder. It's not possible to be 6'7" and throw 90 miles an hour. The question is going to become, does he improve his movement? Whereas Solis is a lot more well-rounded. But I mean, a big guy like this is going to put a lot of heat on his fastball. And that could be good things for his movement and his stuff. I'm going to bet on upside. I'm going to take the risk, and I'm going to go for Reuben Moreno. Done. Okay. Dave Montesino is a very talented outfielder who's just maybe not... Yeah, no hesitation. Done. Easy draft pick. You're not my favorite guy. Oh. I'm going to take him. I would like to get another first baseman in this system that's got a pretty high quality bat. Nobody wants Jose Mondaca. Like, yes, he's not a great pitcher at the end of the day, but getting a pitcher with his possibilities at slot is just good. Will also take me some Reuben Echevarria. That seems good. Yeah, sure. Hi there, Kyle. You're never pitching another day in your fucking life. Okay. Let me make sure that I shortlist you. Here we go. Gabe, I'm gonna go ahead and let you draft anyone else you'd like at this point. because I think we've done quite well. Alright, I would like to jump to my short list, please. Please. I have a lot of people on my short list. Kyle Lizard. Ready? Don't even think of touching a fucking... Don't even think of pitching ever again. Because you're not gonna. I need to lock your development if I'm going to stop you from being stupid. Nope. You are a outfielder. You are no longer a pitcher. There we go. Cool. Alright, let's go ahead and grab Moreno. Let's just sign all the players. Shall we? I think at some point the owner's going to get sick of my shit and is going to fire me because I always cost more money than I should, but I also don't care. Alright. Let's go up to the trade deadline and let's decide if there's anything we can do to improve our chances here. Losing Jim Gender for 2 weeks isn't gonna help. That's for sure. What do we have on the waiver wire in terms of decent relievers? We don't have much. I mean, Hines has to do it because somebody has to do it. Also, Sorrentino is struggling again. So many of my relievers are just not good this season. That is somewhat annoying. I guess you're going to be the closer because someone's got to do it. And then you're going to be 7th inning setup. And we're just not going to have a 6th inning setup guy. It'll be fine. I love how my lefty specialist is one of my 2 all-stars. That's pretty hilarious, actually. This is probably for Tommy McDonald's career. I am not opting back into his... He's just getting hurt too often. I can't take the risk. I can't have him on this team filling a big role. He's going to keep getting hurt. So, what do we do here? What do we do to fix the rotation problem? I could let McLaughlin have a starting rotation again. I don't think that's an amazing idea, though. But maybe it's not the worst idea. The alternative, of course, is having somebody else get the rotation spot, like Caleb Bautista. I don't know how Bautista is doing it, but I think he deserves at least an opportunity to start games again before I turn it back over to McLaughlin. I do want to upgrade our bullpen, though. So what do I have? Jose Narciso. Someone might be willing to give him an opportunity. I would like the very best single player you can offer, and I want a reliever. That's quite good, actually. Oviedo, maybe. Tony Soto. You're a decent pitcher. You're not, like, incredible, but you're a decent pitcher. Can I get anybody in the 60 club? That'd be pretty solid. I kind of like your game here. Good stuff, movement and control. Not amazing in terms of raw velocity, but you're also a real big kid, so you might get even more velocity. Salgado is currently the leader in the clubhouse. Yep, Salgado it is. Welcome to Los Piratos. I hope you enjoy your stay. And you shall immediately be thrust into a middle relief role. Cool. I mean, if he's going to get 20 strikeouts per 9 innings, then clearly Keith Hines is the GOAT. Yeah, I'm just going to opt out of Tommy McDonald's deal. I can't take the risk of committing that many resources to one player who's not playing at a high level anymore. Like, maybe we make the playoffs and he gives us one last amazing run, but even if he does, even if he throws like 7 no-hitters in the postseason, we're still parting ways with him. Hines goes right back to the minors because I want my closer back, and Jim Gender has been excellent. You're gonna take over the good setup duties, my friend, Mr. Turhar. I'm gonna back away off on Sorrentino. What is Sorrentino's issue anyway? Oh, you're giving up home runs at an alarming rate. I probably will trade you in the near future. We'll see what happens though. That is disconcerting. Alright, friends. First of all, is there anybody we'd like to get rid of? Manny Pozo. Just kidding. I'd still love to get more from Pozo, but he's still economically viable. Like, we're still getting a really good deal with him. So I'm quite pleased to just exercise his option. If I asked him for a contract extension, I wonder what he'd want. Holy shit. Okay. We'll talk to you at the end of your deal, my friend. McDonald's gonna go. Taylor's gonna go. I think both of them are just not good enough. And I'd like to upgrade at one or both spots. Jesus Moya is having a really rough season. He thinks he's worth $20 million. I don't agree. Yeah, he's a homegrown starter, and he has pitched well at times, but overall, I just think he hasn't hit his potential. So what I think we do is I think I go ahead and offer him the qualifying offer. And see if he takes it. I don't know what his deal is. Like, I'm looking at him. He throws hard. He's got a nice pitch mix of cutter, splitter, and changeup. Made select doesn't have a breaking ball. That could be his issue, which means you're gonna get hit hard if someone's looking fastball because a cutter isn't that different from, say, a splitter. It's just the direction the ball breaks. So that could be his issue. I don't know how much OTP takes that into account, but that would be how I'm diagnosing him as being less than he appears to be. I'm not saying he's a bad pitcher. He definitely isn't. But he's definitely trending the wrong direction as he's getting older. He's pitching less effectively, not more effectively. His strikeouts are dropping. His walks are going up. He's getting hit harder. We're going to have a lot of turnover in the rotation this offseason. And I think that's okay. I think every team has to do that every now and again. And that's fine. But that's kind of where we are right now. I don't see much of a point in keeping Moya. I could trade him now, but to be honest, we still have a chance to go into the postseason and play relatively well. So I'd like to retain that option. And simply proceed. I didn't think about trading for something. Oh dear. Oh well. So remember that the first round of the playoffs is going to be a 3-game series in the wildcard round. Alright, so it is August. One thing I would definitely like to check is I want to check on my superstar prospects in Sean Hill and Ricky Henderson. Both of you are playing well enough to get the promotion to high A, I think. I still think you both need to grow a little bit more. Like, you're nowhere near Major League ready. But I think at least kicking you both into high A will help your development. Jonathan Webb is finally hitting now that he's in Double A, which is excellent news. I'm here for that. How are we doing as a team? Otis Wolf should not be hitting 224. I don't know what your deal is, my dude. You've got to be hitting better than that. Are you just getting annihilated by lefties? You are getting annihilated pretty hard by lefties. But you're not exactly crushing the ball against righties either. Pozo's good, Gratton's good, Joe is good. Thank you, Joe. You're maybe not your former heights, but you're still very, very productive, and you're really keeping us alive this season. Cerulli is filling in nicely, even if, again, there's still another gear here. I think what we're getting from him is excellent. Randy Sloan is performing well enough. He is hitting homers. He is playing strong defense. Good times. Man, Clint Daly has just been one of the most consistent stars we've had, and that he just does his job really well. He plays shortstop at a high level and hits enough that you're not embarrassed to have him in the lineup. Jeremy Brickhouse has been a bit of a bust. Like, we didn't pay very much for him, but I'm sure as shit not giving him a raise. I think we'll probably either trade him or move on from him. And we'll just let Jonathan Webb figure it out in the big leagues. I know it's a terrible decision, but it's the only decision I've got. I don't really have a better choice than that. I guess he heard the fact I was going to trade him, and he's like, don't do that. All right, Jonathan Webb, I don't care whether you're ready or not. I need a new second baseman who can play every day. So, have fun. Second base, please. There you go. So the question is, who becomes our new leadoff hitter against left-handed pitching? Jim Hughes, I think, makes sense. And then you go there. Yeah. How bad are you defensively? You're not that bad, actually. I mean, you're a first baseman, so you don't have to be, like, a megastar. Good for Rusty Oliver. All right, it's apparently injury season. Cool. I don't really have another starting pitcher in our system, which is kind of gross, but it's where we are right now. I guess Steve Davis is as good as it gets. Like, obviously McLaughlin goes to the rotation. I can't not put him in the rotation now. Is there a good reliever? Rob Collins, you can do it. I believe in you. You've had quite the journey, my friend. Quite the journey indeed. I'm going to remove the avoid high leverage thing from your toolkit, my friend. So there we go. Friends, can we take a moment just to appreciate how damn good Jose Brown has been this season? So good, right? Jose Brown is literally almost holding this team in contention just by himself. Very pleased to see him performing so well. Alcantara's been great too. I know he hasn't had a ton of innings this season, but he's been really good too. My scouting director, Chum, I would like to keep you on this roster. You are a good egg. Team trainer, I guess you're still good. They don't really have the killer team trainers anymore the way they used to, so I guess I'll just re-sign you. Alright. Who is having the biggest issues getting along with everyone else on the team? We want fewer normies, I guess. I see more controlling people, which is interesting, but here we are. I'm going to let Elio Campos go, or am I? Yes, I am, because then I can promote Zach Oceans to first base coach and kill two birds with one stone. Mr. Degagne? You're pretty okay, actually. I think it's worth keeping you. Yeah, Mr. Degagne, I shall give you an extension. Mr. Campos, I want to make it clear. I'm not getting rid of you because you're not a phenomenal coach. I'm getting rid of you because I just want to promote my AAA manager. Let's go up to roster expansion. Oh, another thing I did is I made it so that the top 4 teams, the 3 division winners and the first #1 wildcard, gets home field the entire wildcard series of 3 games. I don't know if that helps mitigate the fact that it's still a 3-game series, anything can happen, but, you know, we'll see what happens, right? We shall see what happens. McLaughlin's movement's getting better. Maybe he is gelling a bit. That would be lovely. Okay. Let us add a couple more players to the roster. I kind of want to give Jose Herrera an extended audition as a catcher. Because Taylor is not coming back no matter what happens. I'm not paying I'm not going to pay nearly $20 million for catcher. It's not that good. So I definitely want to give Herrera a chance to get some reps at catcher. And then we probably need to call up a pitcher too. So I guess we can make that Hines. For now. Middle relief. And then Herrera, I want you to start every 10th game so that you get some reps as well behind the plate. But I mean, some combination of Benayoun and Herrera will probably be my opening day catcher next season. So we'll just see what happens with that. I guess I could try to sign Pozo to like a small extension, but I think we keep the cost certainty while we have it, and then only talk extension when we get toward the end of it. We lost Sam Schmeigel. Rip, my friend. I will say you're one of the best, even though I'm pretty sure you weren't. Melvin Moria, would you like to be promoted, or is it a thing where I can't promote you because I literally don't have enough options? Yeah. Please fix this glitch. By the way, OOTP developments, this is kind of a pain that I can't just assign them to a specific position. Like, let me drag and drop, right? Let me just go like, boop, and drop him in there. But anyway. Keith pitched, I would like you to become my new pitching coach. Please. Awesome. Awesome to the max. Oh my god, Gratton, now is not the time, dude. Now is definitely not the time. Damn, nice work, McLaughlin. And we lost Steve Fulford. Welcome back, Mike Brandon, I guess, because someone's got to do that job, that thankless job of playing all the different infield positions. You know what, Rory? I'm gonna go ahead and put you on the IL. I'm gonna call up Randy Sloan. God damn it, really, game? I need someone to play left field, guys. Akamura, you're in, I guess. And then Noboa here can play all of the different outfield positions here. Oh, no you don't. Don't take away Joe. He is my friend. And then Noboa, Noboa, Noboa. Sure. Well, we got a postseason spot, but with losing Rory Granton when we did is not great. Right, it's not great. Friends, I'm a little shocked that we made the playoffs again, because we were really not a very good team in the beginning there. Yeah, dude, I'm just not willing to commit $20 million a year to you, my guy. You're not terrible, and I guess 20 million isn't totally unreasonable, but I think I'd rather wait, potentially, question mark. There we go. All right, friends. So, how did they get home field? Sure, that's fine. Let's try to configure our pitching staff so that our best pitchers get a chance to pitch. Actually, I'm fine with this order right now. So we'll just see what happens here. Alcantara got lit up. Not a great start, especially when fucking Corey Anderson steps in here and just strikes out 15. Yeah. That's kind of yikes. And we're done. Gotta say, I'm not surprised. I'm more surprised we made the playoffs at all. We didn't have the elite pitching in the playoffs, which was part of the issue, but it wasn't the only reason we lost. We lost because the pitchers that would have been big game pitchers are hurt. Like, Moya, you pitched fine. You gave us the quality starts, all you can ask for. We didn't hit. We quite literally did not hit in the postseason. As short as it was. This was the big issue. At a 3-game series, losing the first game in such dominant fashion is just... yeah. Like, I can't compete with a guy striking out 15. That's just something we can't deal with very effectively. He only gave up 3 hits the whole fucking game. And if one of them wasn't a home run, then... yeah. So an ignominious end, perhaps, but I think not unreasonable. Given the circumstances. Really, Bobby? Really? You've been a rock for us at AA. Mr. Koa, you're an amazing coach. I would not at all object to you becoming my AA hitting coach. Done. And then let's try to get a really good high A hitting coach if we can manage one. Hi there, Juan Keeley. Welcome. Yeah, I mean, I started the episode saying how pitching wasn't as critical until the playoffs, and boy, they proved me right. We got a bad pitching performance at the wrong time. Well, the pitcher had actually done quite well this season. David Alcantara was actually fairly solid, but when we needed a big game, we didn't have our big game pitcher, and we suffered mightily. The rotation is not why we lost that series, though. It's the offense. You can't win a game. You can't win a series only hitting 3 runs in the entire thing here. You want to be a hitting coach for them. How about I just give you a new deal? Nice. Yeah, I mean, losing Rory Granton hurt. There's no disputing that. But we just didn't get really good performances out of a lot of our offense. We badly missed Bill Garett. Badly. Otis Wolf ended up having a pretty okay rookie season. We'll break down the team here in a little bit. I want to finish the playoffs first, though, so I don't forget. It's the Bees and Seals versus the Guardians and Yankees. Fuck the Yankees. Please. Not just because I'm a Guardians fan in real life, but I think anyone who likes an American League team, or any team really, should hate the Yankees. It's just being an American. Unless you're from New York, I guess, then it's alright. I find it boring when one team wins, like, championships year in and year out. It's part of the reason why it's part of the reason I think everyone hated the Patriots. It's like, unless you're a fan of the team that is in the dynasty, you don't like dynasties. I think that's a pretty fair statement across most sports. Yes, I will take this legendary pitching coach, please. Thank you. But yeah. And I think the Yankees have been so good for so long that a lot of people justifiably are like, we're sick of seeing the Yankees. Which is totally fair. I'm also sick of seeing the Yankees be good. But they're really good this season, so might be number 28 might be in the cards for them this year. We'll see. We shall see. You're not a terrible pitcher, but I'm not convinced you're very good either. You don't really do it for me, in all honesty. You're like a reasonably interesting reliever, but with that movement, you're gonna get eaten alive in my park. That's just facts. So you would be a bad fit for my team, even should I decide to sign you. Good. I'm proud of this team for winning 92 games despite the adversity we suffered. But it's also completely realistic to get bounced in the first round. I'm not annoyed by that at all. I think we overachieved to make the playoffs at all. And I'll be curious to see what we can do to make our team better next season. Good for Jacksonville. Go Bees. I don't know if Florida needs 3 teams, but here we are. Here we are. Alright. So, Tommy McDonald, my friend, I am... Wait, what? Okay. I'm going to void your last contract here. I'm going to void Chris Taylor's contract. Bautista's going to come back. That's fine. Pozo, definitely execute the option. Oh, a bunch of people just retired. I actually meant to extend his contract. Whoopsie doodle. Oh my god, I completely forgot to extend minor league contracts. I focused so heavily on major league contracts. Oh dear. We're expanding again? My golly. Alright. Jesus, what I will offer you that. Tommy, I will take a $7 million risk that you can come back and be even mediocre because I desperately need pitching. I'm not going to guarantee you a spot, but I will give you $7 million. To at least try it. Nope. Okay, Jeremy Brickhouse, you are not getting $10 million. You can go fuck yourself. I might trade you, but I can't because you're injured, so I'm just going to non-tender you and chalk it up like that. Yes, you may be re-signed. I'm not going to guarantee you the rotation, but I think you've got a pretty fair shot at getting it. Guys, $3 million for a lefty specialist seems really overpowered, but he had a great season back to back. I don't love it, but I'm going to give him what he wants. Done. Turhar. I'm not promising you the closer role. That's for sure. But you have been reasonably effective for a while, so I think a small... No! I'm not paying you $11 million. Don't be stupid. Okay. Let's fix the coaching staff, and then we'll do a quick rundown of how the season turned out. Because I got to bring back a lot of people now. Alright, so I need a new hitting coach. Sorry, let's get an assistant GM first. What do my people like? Oh, let me do the obvious stuff first. Let me do the stuff I really wanted to make sure that I remembered, which is I lost my AAA manager. Oh my gosh, I'm a potato. I am potat. Rainero Koa is pretty amazing at being a hitting coach. I kind of like the idea of promoting from within, so I think I'm going to go ahead and make you my major league hitting coach. Jose Vargas, I will promote you to being AAA hitting coach. I think that's just a better fit for you because you're not actually the best manager, but you're a really good hitting coach. Okay, Mr. Juan Kelly, you are a pretty solid hitting coach. Let's go ahead and just kick you all the way up to AA. Oh, you don't want to be the hitting coach in Greensboro. You're not a very good manager, so you're stuck where you are then. Connor, let's promote you to high A. Oh, you would take a promotion maybe all the way to AA? You're not that good. Joe Delala, I'd like to offer you the job of assistant GM. Alright, I want somebody who is really, really good at development. But he can also teach positions reasonably well. Jose Arias, come on and be my bench coach. And then let's get a new first base coach. We have a bunch of young catchers. I'm sure we have at least one amazing coach there. Hi, Zach Hushins. Let's make you my first base coach. Weren't you my guy who's going to make my first base coach anyway? I want to say that was my plan. Nelson Acosta, please be my third base manager. Or my AAA manager. Oh no, I've already offered Julian Ibar a different job with me, haven't I? Give me some of that Chris Ulmer, just because he's so young, which means he's got a good chance of moving up in the organization. Garrett Gunnels, I am annoyed by your refusal to become a coach. My guy, I want you to become a coach so that I can make you a pirate for life. I always like mechanics as being a pretty good thing to have a lot of in your managers. This one you can teach pitching well. CJ Lessor. I'm going to let these deals shake out, and then I'm just going to have to start hiring people once the frenzy ends at the beginning. All right, let's break down the season. How did we win 92 games? I'm serious. How did we win 92 games? I don't know. Manny Pozo was a big piece of that. He stepped up his game in a big way. And he really gave leadership and high-quality production when we desperately needed it. He is getting there, guys, where he's going to force the issue about being in the Hall of Fame or not. Rory Granton was also a key source of excellence on this team. I appreciate both of them. Joe had a big setback year. He wasn't nearly as powerful as he's been in the past. He just hasn't been as productive. All that said, I'm still happy to have him, and I still think he is a quality player. The man's got 150 home runs in the major leagues almost, which is pretty crazy. Johnny Cerulli was took another big step forward as a Major League Baseball player. He hit for average for the first time in his Major League career. He hit for a high average. He also had raw power up the wazoo. He's getting it done, my friends. He is getting it done. Otis Wolf should be judged on what he did and not who he isn't. He is not Bill Garett. What he gave us, though, was extremely welcome. He got on base at a very high clip, hit for plenty of power, and had a pretty decent batting average. There's more to his game as well. I am perfectly satisfied with his performance this season. And obviously I want Garett back. But I think he did well. He was definitely worse against lefties. He had virtually no power against left-handed pitching. So maybe he needs to be platooned to truly unlock his full potential. I don't know. He wasn't a great first baseman, but I'm alright with that. He doesn't have to be brilliant, and he was good enough. Chris Taylor, I know he just gave me the same production as he did from the previous season. $15 million is too much for that. It is too much for that. Clint Daly, you're still producing, but you're concerning me. You are beginning to concern me about your long-term viability. Right after I just signed you to a new contract. Oh, that may have been a mistake. I don't think it will be. Like, as long as he's worth 2 to 3 wins a season, our contract is good value. But, I like Jim Hughes a lot, but boy, do I wish we had somebody a bit more versatile in his roster spot. But I can't complain about a guy who hits .329 with almost a .500 slugging percentage. He's doing well in his role. It just seems like, I don't know. Maybe at just some point we just tell Cerulli, go ahead and play against lefties too. Like, he's getting to the point where he wouldn't embarrass himself. Maybe that's just what has to happen. Look, remember, he doesn't have to be a major league megastar. He just has to be good. I don't know. Maybe I will let him play against lefties next season, getting him in the lineup more frequently, and then finding a better use for Jim Hughes potentially. Randy Sloan ended up being not that great. We gave him what he wanted, which is more playing time, and he kind of fumbled it. He got on base, played pretty okay center field. Not an amazing player, though. Jonathan Webb, I am deeply concerned about you. For whatever reason, I don't know what your deal is. You're not playing at a high level. And you should be. But you're not. Whatever your issue is, you need to figure it out, though. Because your path to regular playing time is going to be your offense. If you're hitting .236 in the majors, that is a big, 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 big issue. So figure out your shit, my dude. And figure it out fast. Or you're going to have a very, very short major league career with the Pirates. Our bench wasn't great, but wasn't awful. It produced when we needed it to, but it wasn't able to, carry over, other than Jim Hughes. Let me be clear. I'd rather have Cerulli playing every day just because he's so freaking good. But I would not be sad if we ended up keeping Hughes. Also, Okamura played really damn well. Which is an utter shock to me, but he crushed it. Literally and figuratively. Alright, so that was the offense. Overall, it could have been better, and we didn't have secondary contributions that we normally have them. We missed Bill Garett a lot. Not that Otis Wolf was a slouch in replacement, but he's not Bill Garett. Maybe Cerulli playing every day next season would be smart. Let him just work out the kinks against left-handed pitching because he's not that bad against it anymore. There's lots of options you can do to improve the lineup. We got to upgrade center field, and we got to upgrade catcher. Those two positions really kind of fell by the wayside this season. And we need to fix that. Going forward. Pitching. We desperately missed Tommy McDonald. Talking about the good. Jose Brown, phenomenal. Jesus Moya, man, you're really putting me in a weird position where I don't really know what I want to do with you. I'm hoping you'll take the qualifying offer, but if you don't, I may have to think long and hard about whether to give you a new contract or not. Jim Gender has been a really important piece to our success this season. If you could just stay healthy a bit longer, I'd be really happy about that, but I'm pretty happy with his performance. Mark Hoppus is just good at his job, and I'm really happy that he pitched so effectively. Alcantara was fine. Dan Day was fine. We have a lot of fine in this rotation. We don't have a lot of great in this rotation. So, even a diminished Tommy McDonald is worth trying. But I do think we need to upgrade the rotation in a pretty significant way. Somehow. But, none of this should lose sight of the fact that we were actually an extremely skilled and productive baseball team this year. We made the playoffs, 92 wins. Certainly, what other teams would consider one of their better years is a bit of a down year for us. Understood. But I am thinking, with a bit of assistance, I'm thinking we could have some... get back to our winning ways in the very near future. An important question. If Bill Garett is healthy, does he start? Obviously. So does that mean, for example, that we start thinking about other ways to use Johnny Cerulli? So that Otis Wolf could still play? I think Otis Wolf stays on the roster even if Garett is healthy because the only way to keep him healthy is to give him regular breaks. And letting Wolf play every 7 games, or maybe even every 5 games, would be really helpful in keeping Garett healthy. It's also entirely possible that he comes back and he is hot garbage. Entirely possible that he comes back and he's hot garbage. In which case, we have some interesting decisions to make about how to rejuggle our lineup. But center field and catcher are the 2 biggest areas we need to address this offseason. Second base, I'm willing to give Webb one more chance, but he's going to be on the shortest of leashes, I think. Sean Hill is still way too raw to even be considered as promotable to the big leagues, but... Yeah, Ricky without the E. Henderson, if you can keep hitting at a decent level, you got 211 at-bats. I'm going to push you a little bit because I'd love to see if you could take over second. But I will let Sean Hill play in high A a little bit longer. Oakley, Dokely, Schmokely do. Alright, well, my friends, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please remember to like the video if you enjoyed it. Leave comments. Let me know if you think what we could have done to make things better this season. A healthier Ernesto Nieves certainly would have helped. He actually had a really good season before he got hurt. Mr. Caleb Bautista was a positive contributor. We got a lot of positive contributions we didn't get big time production out of any of our starting pitchers. And I think that's the biggest difference in this in years past. But other than that, thank you very much for watching. As always, your views, your likes, your comments, your suggestions are all very much appreciated. But until next time, this has been Guardian, and I bid you good day.